What's up, guys, and welcome back to SCUM. Now, this is not our regular single player. This is the kind of alternate single player account that I've been using to kind of work on a mock-up of an island base that I wanted to show you guys, get your opinions on, see if you have any suggestions for how we can improve it, other things you would like to see done to it, etc., etc. First, I did go ahead and I moved the bridge a little bit. If you guys remember before, the bridge was angled a little bit more off, kind of to the left a bit. And I got it to where it goes across the shallowest part of the crossing here, so that hopefully if anything gets around these barricades, that it will not be able to get to the shallow part and will still drown. We put a gate at the end here. I still need to get a remote sensor put on it or something. But, anyway, that should keep anything from getting on the bridge, I hope. And the barbed wire will hopefully keep things from going around the gate and being able to enter the water and jump onto the bridge or anything like that. We extended the barricades all the way over to here to where the water gets deeper much quicker. So I think that'll be good enough. And I did that on both sides. Basically just went over to the rocks. So yeah, I mean, technically, somebody or something could go out and around here, but the water gets very deep very quickly going these routes. So I think we'll be fine. I also discovered that a single wide bridge is big enough to get vehicles across. And I went ahead and put walls up just to keep us from, falling off the bridge and into the water. I did, unfortunately, have to place a second flag out here to be able to do the barricades and such. But that's okay. This is a single player, so who cares? And actually, even on our multiplayer server, I think we have multiple flags allowed. So you can expand your base area a bit on our multiplayer server, if you would like to, if you're on the server. Now, in order to be able to get out of the truck to close and open the gate, you do have to get as far over to the right as possible, but I didn't mean to turn it off, that's fine. Let's see, so you can even get in and out of the vehicles on a single wide bridge. So that's nice and handy. Now, I'm not real sure how we want to do like a parking spot for the vehicles. For right now, this will suffice, and then we can just kind of pull up into here and then back up to get relined up with the bridge. Without really interfering with, come on, there we go. Without really interfering with this open area here. Because this spot here is still something that we could do something with. I'm trying to decide what we want to do there. We could build a cabin, we could build a garden, whatever. Because a lot of this is kind of difficult to build on just because of, the trees and the brush and stuff like that. But that's okay. Still pretty innocuous from the outside, right? Can't really see too much. You get over here, you got to look pretty close, and it's kind of obscured by these trees and whatnot, so it's still nice and concealed, I think. And again, this is all just a mock-up, so I didn't upgrade anything. But we have a door kind of hidden behind this rock here, which I like. I went ahead and put floors and walls in here as much as possible. The problem is, like you see this one, it still says that I need to fill in the wall. The problem is you can't, because it's fully inside the rock, so you can't access that wall at all. Unfortunately. And we had one over here somewhere that was kind of sort of like that, so I just didn't bother to put a wall in. We do have a little emergency exit back door, and This lake is plenty big enough to land the seaplane. Now, originally, and yes, I have a dock over there, originally I had it to where the seaplane could just taxi over to the dock. But that was kind of finicky, and most of the time you'd end up falling back into the water. So I found out that you can just kind of park it over here on this little beach. It's maneuverable enough that you can just park it over here. So if we decide to get a seaplane in our single player series, we can do that and park it over here. I kind of like the idea of the seaplane because it's a lot more versatile than the regular plane. So I'm still a terrible pilot, but that's okay. You can also, with the seaplane, like land it on the land and drive it into the water, or vice versa. So it's not like you have to land it in either the lake or on the land. You can land it half, basically do a half and half landing. Just watch your speeds doing it. I ended up rolling the plane. We're not going to talk about that though. Now, I've made this little kind of staircase tower back here. It sticks out a little bit from the rocks, but not bad. Now, there's enough room up here that we have a nice little second floor up here. I really like this. I'm not sure if we would have this be a bedroom or just storage or what, but I really like this. My only complaint with the rocks is you can see the holes. I don't know how that's going to affect rain and such. That may make it to where it can still rain inside, so stuff could, in theory, get wet in here. I don't know. However, it does also create a natural chimney so that if we build a fire in here, we don't have to worry about getting smoked out. Not that that's really a thing in SCUM, but from a realism point of view, it is. But this floor helps to keep everything on the ground floor dry if it does rain in here. So, that's nice. Now, I could not put another staircase in here and have it work just because of the rock formations. Now, we could, in theory, build further out that way and probably do it, but I wanted to try to keep everything as contained within the rock as possible. And I know some of you are probably going to say, well, use a spiral staircase. Well, I tried that, but the spiral staircases, again, the rock formations get in the way, and the spiral staircases are narrower than the main staircases, so it didn't work very well. Again, if we went out a little further, we could probably do it. But for this second one, we have a ladder here, and we have a very slight thing here. There's really not enough room to do anything here, so this is really just a platform to get to the stairs here. I did go ahead and leave all the windows and stuff in here just to help keep light in and so that you could kind of use this as a little bit of a lookout tower. And then it brings us up on top of the rock. Now, I tried building up here, and it is so finicky. Now, I came up here and built first before I built any of the rest of that, and I was able to put down a 2x3 foundation system up here. But it was really awkward and really finicky, and it didn't work very well because of like all the holes in the rock and whatnot, and just the terrain of the rock. A lot of times it would just say that it's not touching the ground. So I don't know that we're really going to be able to build much up on top of here. We can still try. If you would like me to try building something up on top of here, we can. But it's not going to be very big. It's going to be something that would be, at best, the size of one of those little cabins. It's a couple of you had mentioned, oh, try to build a castle up on top of the rocks. Well, that's apparently not going to work. There's just not enough terrain that allows for building of foundations up here, unfortunately. Now, you still have a really nice view up here where we can watch the sun rise, come up over the mountains over there, the sun set over the trees there, and you can still use this as a lookout point up here. What I would like to do, if I can make it work, is at the least maybe build a platform up here and put some low walls around it, just so we could use it as kind of a, I guess, sniper's tower for if NPCs or puppets do try and get to the base. Because technically we are within range of NPCs if they were on the shorelines and tried to shoot at us. And so from up here, right now I'm very exposed. I would like to have some cover up here if we're going to try to use this potentially as a way to pick them off. Again, I don't know if they ever actually do stumble across your bases, but if they do, it would be a good idea to have a way to, deal with them from a distance while still having cover. I think one of you suggested we try to build like a staircase up to the holes here and use the holes to get on top of the rocks. Except you can't fit through them, unfortunately. None of the holes are big enough for your character to fit through. Which is tragedy. But, Now, we could also, like I said, I have stuff built over here for the dock, which I'll show you guys in a minute. We could technically build the dock up higher. Just keep putting floors on top of that and have something, kind of off this side over here, if you would like that. That's a little more grandiose than I had intended for this spot, but if it's something you guys would like to see, I'm all for it. With single player, we're not really restricted at all about how we can build. I mean, you're really not on our multiplayer server either, on the Wolfpack server. We're pretty lenient on base designs, and there are some people that have some big bases. If we do something like this, my plan, I guess, would be maybe, eventually make, like, at least these kind of outer walls here concrete so that they would blend in with the rocks better. I don't know on that. That takes a lot of time to upgrade stuff to concrete. But, anywho. Then over here, I built a very nice little dock over here. And to make it easier to get up on the rocks, we got a little platform right there, so that works nicely. We have a small little covered shelter here where we can have a chest or a wardrobe or something for storing fishing gear and stuff like that. And I built, this pier going all the way out so that we can get into deeper water for fishing. Again, the original thought was have the dock be big enough that you could get the seaplane up to it. But, again, that's a bit finicky, so I don't know that we're going to bother with that, unless you guys have some ideas about how to make that a little bit more tenable. I also debated about whether or not to put railings up along the side. Basically just these little short walls like that around the edge of the dock. And originally I was going to, but most of the dock here, we may put them out on, like, the pier out here, I guess. I don't know. Because we could also, put a fishing boat over there, maybe. Or we could, in theory, let's see. I think, can't we do like the small stairs? No. Yeah, because they're not touching the ground. Drat. Because that's something that we had done sometimes before on the Wolfpack server is, you build a dock and then you have stairs going down to it and you kind of park the boat right up next to the stairs. And that works pretty well. Doesn't look like we're going to quite be able to do that here because outside of these rocks, the water drops, or the ground drops very, very quickly. But that's kind of why I don't want to put railings around here, because, like, these rocks are good enough that you can, you can get to them from the water. Right here, yeah, I'm soaking wet now, but, boom, you can get there, and then you can get back up onto the dock. So I kind of want to be able to get back onto the dock. So I'm not sure, but I don't think I'm going to put railings over on that side. I don't think I'm going to bother putting them on this side again because it's shallow. Again, maybe we put them on here. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think on that. Again, it's not really a problem so long as we're not carrying a whole bunch of stuff to where we sink to the bottom. And I do apologize for being sniffly. I've noticed that in a lot of editing of the videos. I'm very sniffly in most of them. I have terrible allergies this time of year, so I do apologize for that. Let's see, I'm trying to think what else to show you. It's probably not a whole heck of a lot. We could make the bridge wider. I had debated about whether or not to even put a bridge. The main reason for the bridge, honestly, is to be able to get a vehicle across to here. Because my original thought was, well, we don't even need a bridge. We can just build, a garage over there for storing vehicles and just have a boat or something to get across here. And we could do that. We already have a flag over there anyway, so it wouldn't really take anything to build a garage. But that would make getting supplies and stuff a little more difficult. It would make... Well, I don't know that it would make building over here any more difficult because, yeah, we can use the vehicle to move, logs and stuff like that. But the reality is this island's not huge, and it's got a good number of trees. I mean, just right here, we've got a cluster of 6 large trees just right here that, that would get us a ton of logs. So I don't know. I don't know that we need a vehicle over here. Also, here's what this looks like on the backside. See, it sticks out of the rock a little bit, but again, if we make that concrete, it might actually blend in with the rock fairly well. We may have to paint it, to match the coloration of the rock, but I kind of like it. I'm certainly not against that at all. Now, again, we could also, just completely remove that or remove the top sections of it or whatever and just add on to the dock back here, build the dock up and kind of build it up the side of the thing. We could certainly do that. That's actually an interesting idea that I would kind of like to try out perhaps. I'm not real sure what to do with the rest of the island, because like here, there's not a whole lot that you can do over here. The flag does not quite cover this area. I think it cuts off kind of right in through here. So like the seaplane would be on the outside of the flag area, I believe. Also, I still have not had any issues drinking just straight from a lake. See, I'm not getting any kind of issues there. It does still say dirty water, but I haven't had any issues with it, so. I do like this over here, though. I don't want to change anything with this beach area, just because it is an easy place to get a seaplane or a boat up over here. So I don't really want to do anything different with this, even though it kind of looks like a natural thing that you could build, like off of this rock or something, just kind of going out, have a platform out there, build another dock or something. But again, I think with the flag area, we can't really go any further. So I'm okay with that. And then, like I said, this area here, we've got a decent little flat-ish spot that we could build something out here that's not going to, have trees and bushes growing up through it. But I'm not sure what we would want to do there or if we would want to do anything. So let me know what you guys think on that. And then, like I said, over here, I'm trying to decide how to turn the vehicle around, because there is enough room that we can just bring the vehicle up here, kind of circle it around, aim it towards the water, and then, back it in up there, or vice versa. Just drive it in and then back it over here and spin it around. So, in theory, we don't need this area over here for the vehicle, and actually it'd probably be best not to use it just because of the trees being in the way. But, point is, we could still build something over here. We could potentially put the garden in right here, actually. A garden right there next to the water might be a good idea, because you can just go, bloop, water, garden. So, that might actually be the way we go. But I think that's about it. So, let me know what you guys think of this current iteration of a base idea. I also thought about coming out from here, because right now I've just got everything kind of contained within the rocks, which I like because it's kind of concealed, but then you have the very obvious dock out there, so I don't really know how much that matters. But you have this nice little flat area out here. You could very easily, build coming off the rock here, out a good ways and build, all the way out to over here. I mean, you could, in theory, enclose an area all the way out here along the rocks, and basically have it be all enclosed getting out to the dock. So there's a lot that we could do that I haven't done yet. But I wanted to get your guys' opinions on stuff like that. So, yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any suggestions on ways to improve this kind of situation here. Let me know if you'd like to see anything built on top of the rocks. And let me know what you think on the dock design, if we can improve that in any way, if you'd like to see it, grow up and become more vertical, and then could kind of maybe shift over into the rock a little bit. The problem is we can't do foundations off that way. But, in theory, we can do another... I think we can do another set of foundations back this way. Let's find out real quick. Yeah, we can do another set of foundations that away. Can we... There we go. So yeah, we could do more foundations that direction. Oh, we could even do one right there. Okay. So yeah, we can certainly build this up more vertically if you guys would like to see that. So let me know. Also, let me know if you have any better ideas for how to do the mainland over there, in terms of just, making sure that puppets and raiders cannot easily cross this area, because this is shallow enough. Some of you have said that puppets can cross this. I'm not sure if they can or not, because I can't. I have to swim across, even the shallowest parts. You don't have to swim for very long, but you do have to swim. So I don't know if the puppets actually can cross that, and I don't know if NPCs can. But I also have, you can't see it at the moment, but I do have, if memory serves. Yeah. Well, no, that's rocks. I thought I had put some traps out here, just like the punji stick type traps, but I'm not seeing them. But anyway, that's something else. We can kind of set some booby traps and stuff out here. Again, I don't know if we're ever going to need any of that. But we could also, since we have a flag out here, we could build kind of a secondary base over here that would basically be a garage, where we could store our vehicles, tools, stuff like that. And then the bridge across to the island would basically be our living quarters and, stuff like that. So that's another option. We could make this a truly massive base area if we wanted to do it that way. But let me know what you guys think. I love to hear your guys' suggestions because you guys have a lot more unique and interesting ideas than I do. So, any suggestions you guys have, feel free to leave them in the comments, and we'll consider everything and whatnot. Also, let me know if you think we should try to get a seaplane. Like I said, I have one here. I spawned this one in just to see if we could land on this lake, taxi over to the island, etc., etc. So, let me know if you think we should get one of those. You guys know I'm a terrible pilot, but it's a very versatile thing, and it would make traveling interesting, let's say. Now, the problem with them is they don't have a whole lot of inventory space. You know. I'm not even sure if you can put I don't think you can put a chest in these. Which is unfortunate. Anywho. I think that's about it. So just let me know what you guys think of this idea. Let me know what suggestions you have. Also, since I have you here, on the official single-player series, you guys saw that we did hit that cargo drop. It was, where was it? Somewhere along here or something like that. Maybe over here. I don't remember exactly where. Anyway, we hit the cargo drop. We got a gas can. And then I went over to this gas station, filled up the gas can, and at that gas station, there is a Rager that is only missing 2 wheels and an alternator. I mean, it's also missing the doors and stuff, but it has 2 wheels, seat, all of that stuff, battery. It's just missing 2 wheels and an alternator. So, that would be another vehicle option. You know, currently we have the tractor. I have not started it yet, and it doesn't have much battery. I don't know if it has an alternator, so it may not actually start for us. We'll see. But we have that tractor. We have the Leica that is up here at this farm that needs all 4 wheels. Or we have the Rager down here that needs 2 wheels. So if we want to fix up either of these 2 cars, we'll still need to go hit the scrapyard. If we just want to run the tractor and can keep it running, then in theory we can go ahead and just start making our way over here to start work on the base. And with the tractor, we would have plenty of inventory space. So let me know what you guys want to see there. You know, for me personally, I like the Rager as a vehicle just because I'm a truck guy. I have a couple of trucks here at home. And it's got the most inventory space of the cars. Now, the tractor has more inventory space, but it's slow and it's not 4-wheel drive. The Leica is 4-wheel drive, and it's smaller than the Rager, but still has good inventory space. But because it's smaller, it's a little bit easier to maneuver in a lot of situations, and oftentimes it seems like it performs better off-road than the Rager. So, I like both vehicles. I like the look and the sound of the Rager better, but again, I'm just a truck guy. I'm hoping they add the SUV back in, but, you know, we'll see about that. But anyway, let me know which vehicle you guys think that we should take first. Because my plan is we're going to keep the tractor regardless, and then get another vehicle. The tractor will kind of be more of a utility vehicle, and a car would be more of a long trip vehicle, you know, if we're going to make a big loot run. And speaking of long trips, I have something I want to do in single player on the channel. Let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing it or not. What I would like to do is get maybe a cruiser and just take a road trip. You know, just kind of a nice drive around the island to, you know, just enjoy the scenery. Not really going to loot stuff, unless there's stuff that we need while we're out, finding food or getting fuel, or if there's just something interesting to check out, we might as well loot it while we're there. But just driving around and seeing what's new on the map and enjoying the scenery, basically just take a road trip. It would be a very chill, probably fairly boring episode, but it's something I would like to do. We would probably, stop at various places to camp for the night, cook on the fire. It would be a chill thing. It would not be a whole lot of excitement. It would basically be like if any of you have ever watched any like moto camping videos on YouTube, it would basically be like that, but within SCUM. So let me know if that's something you guys would like to see. It would be just kind of the more relaxing side of SCUM as opposed to the constant, killing puppets and NPCs and getting shot at and almost dying type of thing. So if that's something interesting to you, let me know. And other than that, I'm going to stop rambling now. I am going to go ahead and plug the links in the description as per usual. We have St. Jude Children's Hospital and Wounded Warrior Project, both linked in the description. So if you guys would like to support either of those charities, please go check out those links. Then we have my Discord server where you can talk to me more directly than through the comments section. We also have the Discord server for the Wolfpack multiplayer SCUM server, where I do all of my live streams, and it's a nice, chill PvE server. The settings are set slightly easier than vanilla. We have like metabolism slowed down slightly so that you're not constantly starving. Nighttime is a little bit shorter, stuff like that. Everybody on there is pretty friendly. And if you're a new player, it's a pretty good server because there's people that love to help over there. So, if that sounds like something you're interested in, go check out that server. If you do, check out the server rules page over there. Read the rules and the settings for the server. If it sounds like a good fit for you, talk to either myself or Necros. We are the server admins. And we will get you set up with the password. And then we have my wife's YouTube channel, where she does a myriad of videos, including rain and relaxation videos, comedy videos, paranormal videos, where she posts informational content on paranormal locations, as well as some of the evidence that we ourselves have captured on our various investigations. And we do our family live streams over there where we play games like Phasmophobia and Ghost Exile and stuff like that. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, go check out her channel. And other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.